Welcome back to the Let It Rip podcast. I'm your host, xoxo, and for this episode, I brought along the head of content, Steam Golem. Say hello, Steam Golem.
Hello there.
He is obviously the head of content for Wind and Rain Rivals for its inaugural season, and hopefully to continue on. Although knowing you, you'll probably get a job at full time at Team Liquid and been shipped over to California before the day is done. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Steam Golem. What's going on?
Well, it's great to be here for a start. I originally started doing content for Compete League. It was Quee that actually got me involved with content because there was none back there, and ever since then I've just managed to grow and I've got a lot of projects in the work.
A lot of projects. So
yeah.
Is this all going to be for the first season?
Yeah, it's going to be. Everything is planned for the first season, mainly prototypes right now, but they look to be good.
That sounds good. So now you've mentioned it, do you want to just give us a list of the kind of things that you're going to be looking at for the start of the season? Is this going to be, strictly Division 1? Is it going to be partly for Division 2? How much of it is on stream, off stream? What kind of things have you got planned for us so far?
Well, the majority of the content is Division 1 because Division 2 is a bit of it's still in the works. So Division 1's more streamed, more out there, and it's easier for people to sort of get involved with. Because for right now for content, I've got stuff like Fantasy Rivals, which is pretty much a copy of Fantasy LCS. I've got a massive sheet full of stats, which is great for any caster.
Right. Okay. So you've already sent me some links of different stuff that you've already got planned for this. So I'm just going to quickly show the boys what kind of stuff we've got. So this is your little link for your welcome to Fantasy War Rivals and how it works, etc. So the text is a little bit small, so just want to go over a little bit on what this is going to be about.
So what it is there's going to be. I'm going to collect stats using the right API, put them into a sheet, and then these stats are going to be used for different things.
Okay.
The casters are going to be able to use them before games to see how a player is doing, what they can improve on, sort of just stuff to go over, make it feel more community ridden. And then the stats will also be used in the fantasy rivals, where people get to pick their own teams and get more involved really with the community.
As me as a user, could I say, right, okay, in the top lane, I'm going to pick, Artemis from Pirates or whatever, and then I can then look over to World Saves Live and say, okay, I'm going to pick Psycho as my jungler, and then be able to build my team like that using any player from any team, and then they're all going to get points based off this point scoring system that you've got down there.
That is correct. There's a few restrictions, such as for the main 5 players, you're not allowed to have any of them on the same team. So your top, jungle, mid, ADC, and support all have to be in different teams.
Oh, okay.
But then you've got 2 other players that you can have on the same team as the main players.
Right, so is that, just to get that right, is that you get your 5 players from different teams, then you get 2 more, subs? Or
Yeah, pretty much. Subs, but they get points anyways, so sort of backup players in case someone doesn't do well one week.
Right, okay.
You've still got the other players to back up for them.
That's quite cool then, that's quite cool. So what's the kind of system for making this work? Is it, is there a prize pool, so do people have to pay to be part of it for a prize pool? Is it just free with no prize pool, or what?
It's just free, really. I'll give everyone a link and then they'll fill it in. And I've got an automated sort of system to tell them if their thing's right, if they can actually enter that team in, or if they have to change anything in particular. So once everything's fine on their sheet, I'll just lock their sheet, and then the sheet stats, like how much total points they get sent to the leaderboard, and that'll have everyone's name, and it'll be sorted every week as to who's leading in points, or whose team is leading in points, I should say.
So is there a limit of how many people can take part, or can everyone take part even if they're not a player?
Everyone can take part, as far as I'm concerned.
That sounds good.
As long as nobody tries to, as long as nobody tries to abuse it and change any hidden formula, but I should be able to make it so that you can't change that. So
Yeah, that sounds good. So
there should be no issues.
the biggest question I've got regarding this is that obviously if Bomberhond decides to enter your, fantasy rivals, and he decides to pick, I don't know, pick any Mario as his AD carry, and then he then goes to play against Ward Saves Lives and thinks, actually, I'm 1 point behind whoever's first, I'm second. We don't really need to win this game. Why don't I just give Mario a free first blood or something? Is there anything set up that will deny anything like that happening? I can't imagine it happening, but to play devil's advocate, is there...
I actually don't have anything in place, I'm going to be honest. I'd think that the players are respectable enough to sort of not take this fall, not take the I'm going to give first blood over, because I know a lot of the players, and I know a lot of them wouldn't do that. But I don't know if there is sort of any evidence of a player doing it on purpose, then I'd look into just removing their sheet.
Right.
If it was clear match fixing, because sometimes they're just, you might be a bit stupid and give over first blood. It might look like it, but
yeah, I mean,
if I then look at their sheet and they've got like 1 point behind, then it's a bit obvious that they're doing it on purpose.
That's fair. So at least there'll be something to keep your eye on that. That's quite cool. So just have a look at the player sheet now. Is this just a list of all the different players and how much each player is going to cost for each team?
Yeah. Right now there's no costs in place because, there's no players yet.
Yeah.
Like all the rosters need to be locked before I can confirm the players.
So how's the costing going to work? Is it going to be all the same at the start of the season, or are you going to value it based off ELO? What's your kind of strategy for...
Well, since it's a brand new season and there's not really any previous seasons to go off of, I'm just going to have it mainly in the same price. I might get some input from other people as to who's who's worth more, who they would say is worth more points, who they'd say is going to pop off, just that usual sort of stuff.
Because obviously it's no secret that, a couple of months ago, everyone was part of the Compete League server and no one even knew that War Rivals existed, me included. So is there going to be any stats being pulled through from that? Any kind of, eye tests? Because it's no surprise that certain players, such as, the old Pirates roster, the players on there, obviously step above the competition, really. So is any of that going to be put into place, or is we just going to say, no, this is completely different and everyone's the same?
We've got the Steam Golem Invitationals coming up right now as well, which a lot of the players from the league are participating in. A lot of them might not be on the teams per se that they're playing in Rivals, but there's still a lot of players. So that'll be used as sort of a test of skill, really. Okay,
that's good. So it's a kind of
they might have fell out through metas and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good to see. So I'm glad to hear that. So that's nice, Fantasy Rivals. I take it me as someone that's not a player can still take part, though, yeah?
Yeah. Anyone can take part.
Brilliant.
As long as they don't encourage match.
I will definitely be winning that instantly then. Thank you very much for that, Steam Golem. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So what else? You said you've got a lot. You've given me quite a few links here. What else shall we go through next?
Well, I should say we should go through the pick'ems is a new thing. That was originally for the playoffs, but right now it's more of a season thing where you can sort of predict where every team is going to end up at the very end of the season.
Okay.
So I think that's a brand new sort of concept that I'm creating here, where it might work, it might not. I'll see how it works at the end of the season. If a lot of people aren't interested, then I'll just discontinue it. But I think it could be pretty good, because that works in the same way as sort of rival fantasy, where you can... There's going to be a leaderboard again, but you can't really match fix, unless a whole team decides to match fix.
I can't see that happening, no.
Yeah, that would be grounds for, discipline.
Right.
If a whole team did that.
Yeah, I can't see a team willingly throwing an entire season just for this. I think we'll be okay with that one. So that kind of runs on a similar basis, does it? Just they pick the order of the teams and they get points for it, and whoever's closest towards the end of the season. That's
whatever team's got, you'll get like 10 points for every correct sort of position you get. So if you got first place, second place, third place right, you get 30.
Yeah.
Even if you got like 8th, 9th, and 10th, you'd still get 30. There's no sort of bonuses to whatever place they become.
Right. So if you get them all right, you get 100 points.
Yeah. And if you get none of them right, you get 0.
Is it going to be anything like say if the standings end as they are currently, so with Pirates last and Sea Dogs first? Say if you put Sea Dogs second, do you get any points, or is it just if you get them correct? How is that one going to run?
Just if you get them in the exact order of what you've put them. So
right, okay.
If you put Pirates first and they came second, you'd get nothing.
Right.
So it's a bit sad for you if you picked like Pirates first and Sea Dog second, and they reverse.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So
you get 0 points even though you were close.
So is it going to be tiebreakers? Because I imagine no one's going to end. Or maybe one person ends on 100 points. But if there is going to be one person, there might be two. Is there any kind of way to decide, or is it just they both win?
Well, I've got stats right now, so it makes head-to-head a lot easier. Or stats-based sort of stuff. So the team with the better stats will win. I'll need to decide which stats it is, because I don't want to. I might just do it hidden stats right now, so the teams don't, try boost that certain stat in case of
match fixing and stuff.
Them tying with another team.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I like that as a concept. It's something really simple, not too hard to keep track of. I think that's a good one. That one. A lot more content.
Yeah, definitely. Sure beats 0 content from Compete League.
Yeah, maybe not the optimal way of running that for us, especially in Bronze Silver, because last year there was literally nothing for Bronze Silver. So at least now, because it's all focused on one region, 2 leagues in the same kind of player pool, it's going to be a lot easier. Speaking of that, obviously, before we go on to our next topic, we have got academy teams as being one of the main things that rivals are trying to push this year. What's the kind of content-related things going to happen with that? Because obviously there were academy teams. You had, Aquamarine and you had Academy. By both of you guys, by the way. But it's been a lot more pushed with rivals. With obviously, I think we've got Dragoons, we've got Sea Dogs, and Einsatzbreit, who have all secured academy spot, which is quite a decent amount. Is there any kind of going to be anything related with content to do with that, or is it just team to team?
Well, the way the academies work is that they're sort of the subs. Well, as far as I knew, that they are the subs for the main team.
Yeah.
So there'll be. I'll try to get something in with them. They might sub in for a few games. They'll definitely be listed under the stats. But it's a bit harder to just do if it was like a whole academy league, that would be a lot easier. But it's academy plus freelance.
Yeah,
so it's a bit harder to do like half of a league worth of content. I might host some tournaments for the academy teams though, just to get them in the spotlight, get them potential teams for next split.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because that's one of the biggest issues, isn't it, from academy teams, is that you could have 5 incredibly good players that win Division 2, but then they are just locked in Division 2. So
yeah, for sure.
That is one of the issues that people could see. Obviously, you'd expect Division 1 teams to be interested, or the main teams swap some players around, but it's 100% possible that both Sea Dogs Academy and Sea Dogs win both their leagues, and it's just like, okay, we've just blitzed everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's definitely it's hard with academy teams, because there's not much you can do if the academy team does do well, but they've got no real coverage of the league. Because you might just say, oh, Division 2 is not that great. It's just won because they're against lesser sort of opponents compared to Division 1.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully with this first season, it's not going to be that, because it's just whoever signed up first, so hopefully it's a little bit even with how people are, but especially in the future, that could be one of the bigger issues. But you'd expect more academy teams, hopefully. in the coming seasons. So what's the next one? We've gone over the pick'ems and the fantasy. I see you've put 4 more on there. So what's going to be it? So let's go for the invitationals. We already touched on that a little bit. Let's just quickly go through. So what have we got written down here?
The invitationals was sort of an idea before the season originally. It's before the season starts to let teams, get dedicated practice, because a lot of teams were scrimming, but they didn't have a sort of format where they would actually take this seriously. Because scrims can be nice, but sometimes you try out new stuff and you're not really looking to win.
Yeah.
Whereas when you've got when you're on stream and you've got sort of the pressure of performing, you tend to sort of see more where your weaknesses are.
Yeah, I can see that.
It also helps the content team and the casters and that to see who's really performing before the season starts as well. Like if there's any big names that you need to touch upon, if the content, if the fantasy league thing needs, the price is adjusted for a certain standout player, such as Alperin in Compete League. There was no way he was going to be the same price as everyone else.
Yeah.
Because his stats would just be off the board. He didn't even need to try match fix.
Yeah,
he would just
go
wins.
to
a game. He would go in and he would just stomp. But yeah, the tournament's going to be really nice for practice for everyone, really. The content team will get practice. I'll get to test out the statistics. We'll get to stream some games, get some awareness of teams. There's some academy teams performing in there as well, which might get them a bit of notice. And some old players as well, just members of the community that might not be able to participate this season because of their ranks. I've let D5 players join as well, so
that's nice to see. I can see, obviously Artemis is on a Russia who was obviously not part of CL in the end. There's quite a couple of people on there. That's quite nice to see. Obviously, you've got some teams that are being exactly the same as their future rivals teams. Obviously, we've got Lull Squad, we've got Flame and Dragoon. Oh, I don't know if Yoshi was playing. But then you've got new teams like the Brotherhood, which you won't be seeing playing, or Minecraft Boys, who I don't think are a team either. Yeah, we're seeing that with Alprin AD carry. So, did you expect more teams to sign up as their full roster? Did you expect the 10 first division teams to sign up, or are you glad that it's more of a community based kind of thing?
I thought more teams would sign up as their full rosters, but it's actually quite nice to see that even if they're not the full rosters, a lot of players that have been signed up to participate, even if they're not in their teams, are actually joining and playing. I would rather the teams not play, but the players play.
Yeah.
Because you can always look at a certain player instead of a team and say, okay, this player plays this player does this is how he performs, and then you can compare it to the rest of his teammates and say, oh yeah, I think this is what they'll do. I think this is how they'll play, and it's just really nice to see that even though the players haven't joined as their teams, they are going to be playing in a sort of competitive environment.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. So
performing.
A question I've got then is a hypothetical, but nothing really to do with content massively. But say in this invitational, we get players that are going to be playing in one team but are subbing in for another. So 100 Cobra there, I don't think has much reflection on the actual Pirates roster, but we can see Sesh King on there. Could you see it be in certain situations where players will, maybe underperform or overperform in the invitational, and then before Rivals starts, there's a lot of hoo-ha in the air of, does this guy get kicked from a team? Does this guy get picked up by another team because of, their performance? Could you see this being an issue in that sense, or?
I feel like a lot of teams are already set on the roster, and they wouldn't kick somebody who's already settled in with how little time's left for the season start, even if it is quite a while away. I still think they need a bit of time to get all synergized and stuff. So I don't see, with this ending, about the dates aren't confirmed, but it might end in about 2 weeks if that's how it is. That's going to leave very little time for players to sort of get kicked and
Right.
replaced. I don't think a lot of players are going to look at this and say, "Oh man, this guy performed really well in this tournament. I think we should pick him up," because it's a one-time tournament. A lot of players are taking it not as serious, but they will try their best.
Yeah.
I feel like players will just they would just try their best, but at the end of the day, it's not going to really reflect how they're going to perform during the season. So I think it's just sort of for week one how they're performing right now in the current meta, because that's always something that could change. Next patch, it's getting jungle changes. Junglers might perform this patch, but not next patch. It's really uncertain right now, so I wouldn't say that teams will kick, or they might bring up players if they're looking for a certain, if a team's looking for a top laner and they see someone perform here that's maybe in Division 2, they might say, "Hey, do you want to join our team in Division 1 and get more sort of spotlight time?"
That's a brilliant point. Especially for people that are looking for a team right now that are, quote unquote, stuck in Division 2. That could be perfect. So one thing I want to touch on, and you've got it written down, is you've got a list of all the teams, you've colour coded them, and you've tiered them as well, depending on the colour code. So you put Low Squad and Brotherhood being the strong favourites to win, and obviously Ansitz Bright Academy and Undefined being the complete underdogs. What's your theory behind this? What have you done to defend yourself? Defend yourself with this one.
So I sort of I've done a lot of research into these teams. Apart from the unknown strength, where I've not really been able to look at their previous seasons or get information on the players per se.
Right.
So LoL Squad, they've been performing really well. They got the 3-1 win the other day over the Pirates team they did have 2 subs, but it was a convincing win in the end.
Yeah.
With a 3-1 win.
Especially one of the subs
really strong.
Was Bomberhunt, who was obviously so favoured. So is the Low Squad
Bomberhunt was getting fed.
So is the Low Squad team going to be pretty much the same? Looking at it, because I can see that Sir Hench is... Sea Dogs, what we're talking about. Low Squad, yeah, it's exactly the same team that they played, isn't it, with Yashiro in the jungle? So I think that's a brilliant point.
Well, yeah, I think they'll definitely do well.
What was your opinions with the quarter-final game yesterday? What's quarter-final? Was it semi-final? Semi-final, wasn't it? I don't remember. What was your opinion of Pirates versus Low Squad?
I feel like Low Squad definitely put the resources on the right person with the synergy between Yoshiro and Ferrum. I think they did a really nice job of saying, we already have the experience of playing together. We duo queue, we can get this game snowballing, and then we'll just put Ferrum on these lane winning carries.
Yeah.
And he did really well in making sure that he got the side lane pressure, because the bot side of Pirates were definitely winning with Bomberhorn getting fed the first game, but they couldn't quite win because of how impactful Ferrum was being in top lane with getting the early leads and getting the lane sort of advantages. So I think they did really nice in making sure they played to their sort of their strengths.
Yeah.
In a way.
I mean, I remember at the very start of the spring split and Compete League, Low Squad were having the issue where, the top side of the map tend to win, but the bottom of the map seemed to let them down. And, they had a big issue of just losing through, it was back then Deef and Alianari just not being able to outperform their competitors. And often they did get camped because that was seemingly the weakest aspect. But you can see, as you said, they had 4 winning matchups up on the top lane. And they were able to translate that to the bot side every time. Because I certainly remember in more than one game, you'd see Pirates go for a bot lane gank, them get something, and then instantly replied. Especially the Talia game, they'd go down and Low Squad would really be able to buffer from that. You just hope that there's going to be an upset with these teams, because looking at it, there's still macro issues from both sides. And Twitch chat went mental Cogmore building Wits End. There was certainly a lot of questionable decisions going on. But yeah, I think that's a great point, and I'd be excited to see how your invitationals do, because obviously with all these teams coming into it. So if I just go on to the groups and schedules roster, I want you to talk me through what you've got written down here, if that's all right with you.
So the groups were actually drawn last night by Cradden on his stream. He got pieces of paper, wrote down the teams, and then drew out the teams and put them into 3 different groups. So it was 3 groups of 4, and it ended up being a group of life, a group of an unknown group, and a group of death.
I mean, you put the Brotherhood and Law Squad as your favourites to win in that, and they are both in the same group, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah, the nice group of death you can see there.
I mean, it would be an upset though, wouldn't it, if one team... So is it best of ones, each team plays each other once, or how is it?
Double round robin, it'll be.
Right, okay, so is it single games but playing each other twice?
Yeah, best of 1, but you play your opponents, like your group opponents, twice in the group stage.
Right, okay, that's good. So I can see that the group stage is planned to be running just for 1 day. Sorry, for 2 days, but 1 week. And that'll just get all the games done. That's interesting.
Yeah, it will.
So
it'll a few of these games are streamed as well, so it'll be nice to get them done with.
Right, so
see who moves on.
I have seen you've got who's streaming them there based off it. So they're the ones that being streamed. That's interesting. So I take it Heart Gold and Sea Dogs were just picked out of a hat, and as them being the lucky 2 that escape it through.
Yeah.
And then it's the top 2 of each group to make it the 8.
Yeah, it was completely random. We thought of giving the Brotherhood and Low Squad buys, but I think it would be more interesting to just make it random, make it a bit more fair as to who got the buys.
100%, because I mean, if you put Brotherhood and Low Squad as your buys, and then you played through the whole groups, and then one of them lost, you're like, well, how good actually are these teams? Whereas if you've got the randoms like Heart Gold and Sea Dogs, where you don't know if they're going to win or they're going to lose, either result is kind of an expected finish, which is nice. So I'm going to ask you to predict now, from all 3 groups, your top 2, and then an eventual winner. Okay,
so Group A, I think it's going to be first place Flaming Dragoon.
Okay.
Second place Einsatzsprite.
Okay.
Group B. Oh, Group B, that's going to be a hard one. These teams are full of unknown players. I'll say Minecraft Boys to go first.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to make a bold prediction and say Team Expanse to go second.
So Team Expanse, is that the team of complete people that no one knows of? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Minecraft Boys, yeah.
I'm just going to take a gamble and say because they've got matching names, they might have synergy.
That's the best excuse I've seen all day. Flaming Dragoon, they've got matching names apparently too. I can certainly see that. Group C, do I need to ask you?
I mean, there could be an upset, but right now I think it's going to be... I think Brotherhood's actually going to go first here.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Just because of how strong their players are. And XCan has been... He was in the Diamond League for Complete League, and he was one of the major sort of... He was like the Alperin of the league.
Oh, wow.
He was just so impactful. As well, what I've heard, he was so impactful. And he's got great shot calling as well. So I think with the combination of the individual players and the shot calling of XCan, he'll be able to lead the team to an easy first place. And LOL Squad for second. When I say they're still a brand new team. They do have 2 substitutes playing for them, which are higher elo than the rest of the team. But I don't think that'll be quite enough to bring the rookies to face off against Brotherhood and LOL Squad.
What's that team for again, sorry?
It's Einsatzsprite Academy.
Ah, yeah, definitely not one I say, is that?
Yeah. They renamed themselves that because they had to bring in some substitutes because the the
I
players
see.
weren't able to
I see.
attend. But yeah, I think that's the team. The team is strong with the substitutes being brought in, but not strong enough to make it out of the group of death. And 100 Cobra, it's got some strong players in, but I don't see them being strong enough to be able to take out Little Squad and the Brotherhood.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue I can see with the Brotherhood is looking at 4 players who I'm somewhat familiar with seeing, and then someone that you claim to be a fantastic shot caller is potential, controversially saying, attitude issues or clashes between that, because I'm seeing 5 personalities there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they are able to perform as one unit. But then, obviously, you could have said that about Pirates last season, and look who absolutely demolished it until obviously playoffs. So you've told me your top 8, at least the 6 that are going to qualify, and obviously with the automatic buys. Who's your favourite to win?
I'm gonna go with.
You could predict Brotherhood or Low Squad, or you could predict an underdog, because you never know.
It's looking at these. I would say. Oh man, it's gonna be a tough one, really. I still go with my hunch that Brotherhood or Low Squad is gonna win.
I didn't ask an all. I said one. I want to be able to go back to this in 2 weeks' time and say, boom, Steam Golem predicted that, bang on. He got all 6 out of the right of the groups with the position, and then he banged the first one out of the park as well.
I'm gonna say Brotherhood then.
Brotherhood, nice one.
Yeah.
Only a matter of time till we see, but that'll certainly be interesting when it comes to that. Nice one.
Yeah.
Steam Golem Invitational. So we've not got a start date for that yet, do we?
It's actually starting this Saturday, which is the 19th.
Right, okay. And then we're going to just continue on from there. Is it going to be a daily thing or just dates when decided?
So when all the groups are decided and we see who's going through, I'm going to speak to the teams and make sure that we can get some dedicated casters, get some, just make sure everyone's available around the times and just get some dates laid down for teams being able to, just play.
Sounds good.
So
hopefully everyone's excited for that, because I certainly am. I'll be casting at some point. At least you promised me I will. So
it'll be a fun experience for everyone.
Hopefully so. So we've got a couple of other things on here. But one thing before we go on to that is I want to ask less of the the off-stream events and these different bits of content we're doing. What's some of the smaller stuff that we might be doing? Stuff that might be on stream or stuff that might be on the YouTube. Stuff that's going to be visual. Have you got anything necessarily planned for that yet?
Well, we've got 2 pretty talented video editors on the content team.
Okay.
Thor and Air, which are 2 pretty big, 2 liked players in the league, and those guys will be doing sort of stuff like montages. I say montage; it'll just be like sort of highlights of the week. They'll also be doing stuff like like highlighting a team and making people aware of it, doing a short, how do I word this, documentary of sorts.
Yeah, like an introduction to each team, and then just going through each one. Yeah, okay, I can see
sort of
that.
like they did at MSI for the wildcard teams.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of video content coming from those 2, which will be really exciting. It's not really been done too much in other amateur leagues, so I think it will help, boost rivals, make them really appealing to the audience.
Okay, then one question I've got is trial split of rivals. I'm not talking season 9. I'm not talking anything we're doing for winter. I'm talking from the start of invitationals to the end of playoffs. Is rivals going to be better for Compete League? Now, I'm not just going to ask on content. I'm going to talk in terms of content. I'm going to talk in terms of structure and state of the server. All of that kind of stuff that's involved. Which is going to be better in your opinion? Can you see any major flaws with rivals? Any positives that CL has that rivals can't, and vice versa?
Well, I'm actually doing a report on this for a certain team. I won't say which team, professional team, but there's going to be I've looked at both, and there's certainly strengths and weaknesses of both. Uh, I'd say Rivals is going to be better individually for the league, just because there's more dedication on this one league.
Yeah.
There's not sort of having to deal over. Well, Compete League had 6 different leagues with the NA and EU, but now it's only 3 because of the collapse of the EU sort of structure.
Plus, it even had
Uh,
the open leagues as
oh
well.
yeah, it had the open leagues. It had the what was the big one called? It's like the NA Challenger.
I don't know. I didn't even look into NA, if I'm being honest. I was strictly there for the bronze silver banter, if I'm being honest. But yeah, they had a lot to deal with. Rivals is just the 2 leagues with the one kind of group of players.
So yeah, Rivals. I think they'll be better individually. The only issue I could see coming up is there's no sort of API put in place yet. Everything's manual
Yeah,
in a way.
that's going to be a big thing, isn't it? We're relying on teams to post the match
Yeah,
history, so obviously you as the head of content can get that data so that the organisers can structure the standings and everything. So
yeah. It's going to need to be sort of reliable for the teams. You're going to make sure you get the right teams in.
yeah.
Make sure the teams can send in all the data necessary.
I mean,
Compared to Completely where it's just sort of you put in your name, your team, and it would automatically sign you up. It would automatically, you know, put you onto the next league if you qualified.
and it would
Whereas this is just
automatically update the schedule every week.
yeah,
And obviously, we definitely wouldn't be playing the same team 3 weeks in a row or anything like that. It was bang on. It was bang on Compete League using the right API. There's definitely
yeah.
certain positives that we can see with that. So just in terms of you as the head of content and data handling, there is obviously a big difference with not having this right API. So first off, what is it? Because I've got no fucking clue. And second off, what can you do with it? What's the benefit of having this aside from obviously having these tournament codes and everything?
So Right API is just sort of it's what you use to extract the data from the games themselves. So I actually semi get the Right API. I don't have a program, a coded program to sort of automatically extract the things and say, this player's doing this. I have to sort of do that semi-manually
So what kind
or
of stuff have you got to do?
semi-automatically. So what I do is I go to the Riot page, I go to the match and put in the match code or the match URL thing,
Yeah.
and that gets a massive page full of stats. I then paste that stat into Google Sheets, and then I have to split the massive wall of text into different columns. So I've got on the left there'll be column A, there'll be sort of the actual name of the stat. Column B, there'll be the stats, well, the data.
Yeah.
So A would be kills, B would be 3, and then C, I'd put the player name next to them.
Yeah, so you could individually locate that data to a specific naming. So it would run a little bit like a database, but just on Google Sheets.
It is a database in a way, but it's more of a it's got a lot of data that I need to drag down, and I mean it's effective in a way, but I think the right API would be a lot more sort of effective in making sure nothing goes wrong, and it would be a lot quicker.
Right. So
although it doesn't take too long right now.
Would we be getting exactly the same information from Right API with this system you've got, or is it just the fact that it's taking so long and it's taking making you do more work than is necessary?
It would purely be time related. There's not much that apart from team statistics. Team statistics is a really hard thing to sort of drag out because it's different compared to the player stuff. The players it's just a massive list, and then the teams is both teams sort of got this amount, and then you have to drag out different sort of stuff.
Right.
So
okay.
it'd be a lot easier if you wanted team statistics, but player statistics it would just be the exact same stuff, just a lot quicker.
Right.
In
Okay.
terms of, it would be like you snap your fingers and it would be there. You
Right.
could also do like a query really quick. It would just be a massive database that you could really search.
So I don't know the limitations of what, even when we get Riot API, what it's going to allow and what it's not. And obviously, when I was in the role of head caster, I was thinking a lot about what we do for stream. And obviously, you watch MSI, you watch the LCS, and you'll see after a team fight damage dealt by champions. Is this something that we can see for a specific team fight, or is this just something that Riot themselves do, and is it never going to be in our control? Because I'm quite curious. Watching the games yesterday, was like, is the ADC actually doing any damage in that, or is that anything that we're going to be able to get hold of at any time in the foreseeable future?
I'm not quite sure on if that's possible in amateur things.
Right. Okay.
Because I know how it works is the Riot API actually extracts the data from the match history. So the match history will have all the stats, and it'll wait until the game's finished.
Right. Okay.
So it's use the match URL to sort of drag it out after the game's done.
Right, but you could then see the damage dealt overall afterwards, but just not during. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So at least we know there are limitations with that. That's good. Because you don't want the blame being on you for being lazy. We want it on the quality of stuff you've got. Now, quick questions come in. Completely unrelated to content, but how do you now feel that Big Sexy has made it to Platinum from being Silver 1 about a month and a half ago?
Oh, that's a massive climb.
It is big news, isn't it? It is big news. I mean, all I can say is that Sea Dog's Academy is looking like the favourites to win, with probably the best AD carry in War Rivals now making it to Plat 5. It's exciting, and I'm really glad he sent that question through. But
I do wish him luck in getting out of Plat 5, though. That has been my goal for the whole season. I've finally got out after about 6 months, or however many months it's been. Got placed there. Finally got out like 2 weeks ago.
Plat 4, let's go, boys.
So best of luck to him. It might take him about 6 months, but he might get to Plat 4. So
good luck to him, and some good luck to me because I'm hard stuck Silver 3 at the minute. So let's do this, boys.
Just play Soraka or Janna.
I've tried. Honestly, now I'm just shit. It's funny because I got to gold 2 earlier on this season, but I don't know what happened. I fucked it. But anyway, we've been through that. We've now got the 3 that we've got left are the statistic collection sheet, player power rankings, and team power rankings. So we'll just go through the order you've put in. You've put the statistic collection sheet. So let's just have a quick look at what you've put for that. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. As I said, this is going to be the statistic sheet for the Steam Golem Invitationals in particular. They've got all the players listed down. You've got all the stats. I spent quite a bit of time formatting to make sure it looked nice.
So at least we know the head of content does no work. At least we know that. Fuck me.
Yeah.
So I can see that if we just take it off 50%, we can see that the roles, it's just each player is fit individually with their role, whether it be the substitute or whatever, and just linked with their role.
Yeah.
And then we've got KDA, we've got damage dealt to champions, vision, gold, minions and monsters. I presume that's CS and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
PvE damage. See, there's everything. There's literally everything.
Yeah.
That's mental. So
there's only one section that I couldn't quite do due to it's another thing that the API might have been able to help with. It's the CS difference per minute for like 10 and 20.
I see. So you can get the overall CS difference, but not for the individual timestamps.
Yeah, it's because how it works is there's a thing where it pretty much overall it's meant to be like CS is 0 to 10 and then 20 or 10 to 20. But
per minute,
with oh yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I tried to look at that, but on the raw stats it just shows 0 to 10 for every sort of like gold per minute, CS per minute, all that, it's all 0 to 10, so you can't really search for 0 to 10 without it bringing up sort of everything.
Right. Okay.
Which,
I see. Yeah. So it's just too much to do anything with.
You could edit it, but that would take. We've got how many games happening? There is 1, 2, 3, 18 games happening per day for this invitational.
Yeah, I don't think you should be doing that, mate.
It's easy enough to drag down and sort of get all the player stats, but when I have to edit sort of the CS, the gold, it's a lot more than expected. So it's not quite possible with only myself knowing how to do this, and a tournament this big.
So what kind of stuff is this going to be used for? You've got a wall of stats, which, while being incredibly informational, not a word, but we'll use it, doesn't really tell us anything because of how much. When you kind of overfill your plate when your eyes are too big for your belly, kind of thing. It's like that. I can see that this player's had more pentakills than every other player, but what does that tell me? What are you going to use with these stats to provide it on an easy to read way, and obviously an interesting way too?
This will be given to the casters actually for prep. I'm not sure if this is going to be publicly available yet. This is going to be given to the casters to sort of look before the game and see, this guy's been getting a lot of damage dealt, but he's not got all the kills. Then it could be, this guy's dying quite a lot compared to the other top laners. It'll just be sort of stuff for the casters to look at and just be like, I can talk about this before the game. I can, just do what they want with it, really.
Okay, so question for you is, obviously this is a wall of text or information. Is there going to be a way to query this data as if it was, something like SQL, where you could say, okay, it's going to be Irons at Sprite versus Heart Gold. So I want a report being made by just clicking Irons at Sprite and Heart Gold, and that will just give me the players from those two teams and let me be able to compare them. Is that something that's possible with what we've got available to us?
That is definitely possible right now. You can. I wonder if I can do it right now, or if I've not implemented it yet.
Well, let's see. Let's give our boy a couple of seconds to see if we can do this. It's fine. If we've already been going on for 46 minutes, if people have made it this far, they're going to make it to the end.
You can create a filter, create a new filter for you. There we go. And so, what teams did you want?
So let's just say it's Heart Gold versus Irons at Sprite.
Okay. Heart Gold. So you click all these teams off. There's a lot of teams, holy shit.
Yeah, maybe done a little bit of work for yourself here.
And then there you go. Then you just need to sort this. It's been. I'm not sure if you can see the change right now.
No, I can't see the change, no.
Update range. Okay, so maybe this might have to be done by the casters, but on my screen, it's got the 2 top laners and then the 2 junglers, 2 mids, 2 ADCs, and 2 supports, and you can use this to compare between the, just how the 2 roles are doing.
Yeah, so I take it you can. It's like a checkbox, so all the teams are checked. You uncheck the ones who aren't involved, and then you just get the ones who have the team set as Heart Gold or Irons at Sprite.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's good.
Exactly that.
So for substitutes, you've actually got the teams listed as well. So would it show that the subs are compared? So it'd be quite easy for a caster to say, okay, so Big Sexy has got this KDA for Sea Dogs, but then Arbush as the main AD carry, or the AD carry that's in the main team at the minute, has only got this KDA. So maybe we should swap the 2. Is that something that is going to be able to do?
Possible.
Right. Okay, that's good. So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to use for a multitude of different things to compare it. And then obviously I presume you can hide the columns to then search down a report of what you want. That's pretty much exactly perfect, isn't it? So is this going to be something that's available or not available so far to the public? Or will you just be giving off reports of this is something that's quite interesting to look at? Or you'll be providing the whole thing?
Right now it's listed only to the casters. I'm considering, after the group stage is done, to sort of give it to everyone else just to see how they did in the group stage. But one of the issues of giving it straight out right now is people just playing for their KDAs or
Yeah, I can certainly see that.
playing for stats.
But people are going to see this anyway, so if that's what you want, little Yoshiro, if you want your perfect KDA to stay as it is, just AFK farm. It's fine.
Or just don't die. Pick someone like Nunu.
Oh yeah, that works. Or the clever ones like Anivia, who just if you die, come back alive. Aatrox, another brilliant one. Always the best. That's quite interesting, and there's obviously a lot of different stuff you can do with that. So the final two are the more, in my opinion, controversial ones.
Yeah, the player community voted stuff, which have always been a blast to sort of deal with.
So I'm just having a look at the power rankings formula, and I'm seeing a lot of hashtag ref exclamation marks. Can I just explain what's going on with this one?
So yeah, this is actually the code. Right now, this hasn't been set up because there's 5 different roles. So what I do is every time I set up I'd set up like a top lane, and then I'd make it a form. Everyone would fill in the form, and then I'd make it go to a spreadsheet like this one.
Right. Okay.
And I'd paste this onto like line, where is it, 102?
Yeah.
As shown down there, and it would like say how top lane is like top 1. I'd replace that with somebody's name, and it would search above, see how many people have in column B, which will be vote your number 1 top laner, have put that player's name, and it would count how many people have done that.
I see. Yeah. So it's only going to be the top lanes that vote for the top laners, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. And then obviously that's just going to end up with a leaderboard of who gets the most points.
Yeah, who everyone else is thinking is like the best. You won't be able to vote for yourself though, as it's been proven in last year to be a bit more, controversial if you vote for yourself.
Right. And is it going to be a way that stops someone pasting the link to their mate and saying, "Oh, you vote for me as number 1"? Is it going to be a way that you're going to be able to balance this, or
you won't be able to sort of? It's a bit hard to, stop friends in the same role from voting each other, because you can't really tell.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if for example, Poop Deck Thor decides, "No, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to put you first," that's okay. I just mean, say if who's going to be the top laner for Lul Squad? Farron. If he says to Weedfish, "Oh, here's the link. Vote for me for number 1." Is that going to be something you're going to be able to stop? Because if he just says that his name's Thor,
you won't be able to vote for your own teammates. But that's why I always put your Discord as well.
Right. Okay.
And then I make the results publicly available. So if there has been sort of someone who's voted as someone who they're not supposed to be, and that player will usually pick it up and say, "Wait, I didn't vote for this guy."
Yeah, so it'll always end up cross-referencing itself, to be fair. That's good to see. Right, okay. So I take it the exact same thing is going to work for the team power rankings if we just open up that one.
The team one's actually empty right now.
Okay, fair enough. But you've both got a list of different things. So you've got timestamp. What is your username?
Yeah, that's actually what that was an example of what's going to be, listed up there. There's going to be the timestamp of when they've put it down, the username, sort of Discord. Like the Discord's just important if I need to sort of say, "Oh, by the way, you voted for 2 people," because I always go over and make sure that everyone's voted for 1 person. Because there was a few times last split where they did vote for like 2 people, like one is 2nd and one is 8th. I do encourage people to put a notepad list.
Oh, so they kind of forget who else they've got, and it's like it
was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this player because I've not really heard of them. I've not played them yet, so.
So is this going to be done after the invitationals, just so people have got an idea of what Team Expanse have got to show?
Yeah, it'll be done at the start of the split, or just before the start of the split starts, just to give everyone a last moment chance to see how everyone else is doing.
Right. Because I presume these teams are going to be scrimming each other as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of scrims going on right now, especially for the Invitational. There's a lot of teams that have abandoned their own practice.
I can imagine it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's players needing team experience rather than teams
Yeah.
needing teams experience. So that was good to see. And obviously, everyone, as you said, wants to try hard for the Invitationals. So that's good to see.
Yeah, it's always nice to get everyone sort of, being a community. That's always what I've wanted. Everyone just being a community.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid the flame for this
Yeah.
for this split. Although Trash Talk's been pretty dead. I must say, it's really not been an interesting read. That's all. It's a bit of a shame.
Yes. At least it's not the rioting that we had last split, so.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when it's really bad as well. Like, at least make the syllables the same or make it rhyme or something if you want to, spam post something.
I know the riots last split were just terrible near the end. They were just
Although I must say
spam.
that Mammal's copy pastas, if you watch the game, was brilliant. In the semi-final game with the Pirates. I'll have to give him credit for that one.
Yeah, the copy passes are always really funny, especially when they adapt the ones from the Twitch copy pasta site, and they take ones from there and then they change the names around, and it's fantastic. I really like watching the chat just to see sort of those, because sometimes you get sort of people commenting on the gameplay, and then you just get other people who are like, you know what, I really like that copy pasta. Time for me to spam.
Right, yeah, I can see that coming. But one thing that's kind of linked to the Twitch is, do you expect it to surpass Compete League? Because we've seen the games that have been played so far, and we're seeing 30, 40 watches, and bronze and silver used to get 75 back in Compete League. So
yeah,
I mean, gold and plat was surpassing 100. Can you see rivals being able to rival that in terms of Compete League, or is it just the fact that people aren't really bothered so far with the past Compete League games? Because
I feel like Compete League's they really, the issue with Compete League, in my opinion, is that they don't really cater to the community. They don't keep the community presence alive, really. It's if you ever go into the Discords, there's not really much events or sort of anything keeping people interested.
Yeah.
Like, people only go to watch sort of their own games, or games they might find, oh shit, my friend's playing in that game. I might watch that to see how they do. There's nothing really to drive the community to, just watching.
Yeah,
They'll watch their own games, and that's it.
Obviously, from someone that was involved in bronze and silver, kind of got the role as headcaster to just suddenly be involved with the GP community. In that time, I've kind of I know a few names now. I know what people are about, and even now, I know if I see one of many in a game, I'd be more inclined to watch it than if it was just okay. It's Irons, it's Bright versus Sea Dogs. Who gives a shit? Do you know what I mean? Those are just names rather than the people involved. But obviously, now I know people like Tent are playing or people like Hench are playing. It's like, okay, yeah, let's go watch that. I can certainly see that being a big driver.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the main objectives as well, to sort of get people's names out as well. Like, there was Compete League Gold and Platinum, there was Tent, and that was pretty much it for community names at the start of the winter split, I think it was. Or it was maybe the spring split. It was just Tent, and there's Tent shirts, and that was it really. It was just everything Tent. There's no other really big names. There was no drama. It was just, oh, Tent in this game, better go watch that. Tent's games were like, watch out. Everyone would watch them. But now with sort of more names getting picked up in the Discord, like more people getting known for what they're all about, their personality. You've got people like Artemis, who caused a bit of drama, but he's now, people want to watch his games. There's people like Hench, he's a nice guy. He's always active. People watch his games. And it's all about making sure that the community knows about each other.
Yeah.
Like the Discords in which like the chat's dead. Nobody really watches those matches, because why would I watch somebody who I haven't really heard of or haven't really seen type?
There's certainly, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really beneficial that the Compete League, well, not the Compete League, the Rivals is overtaking Compete League in terms of community presence. Like what we were actually doing to make sure that the community is interested in each other.
So what are the content team going to do for that, for the individual players and for the teams in general? Because obviously you've gotten, the list of things that we've got down, the power ranking, etc. You've got the invitational, which is obviously a big thing from the content side. But you said you're going to do the team kind of introductions. Is there going to be a specific thing for players as well? Are we going to see the likes of Chubby Coon doing anything, or Torsten is Bay, two people who I don't know, but obviously are new to the community and could be involved? Is content going to do anything regarding that, or is it just if an idea comes, it comes?
The two content guys right now, Air and Thor, they're like working hard on finding highlights of all the players they can, and sort of just making sure that people know of their names. But of course, there's not really too much that you can do if they've not really been involved in tournaments before, or they've not really shown much.
Yeah, of course.
You could like look at their op.gg and be like, oh, this guy plays this, but it's not really informative at best. That's why the invitational was sort of what I was going for, where we can make clips of certain players. Plus, there's going to be 2 stream games for every team, so that should be more than enough to get everyone noticed.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that the LCS do, whether it's NA or EU. So you've got stuff like picks to watch. You've got stuff like this or that. You've got highlight of the week and all the other stuff that they've got going on. I can't even think of it all. Are Rivals going to try and implement some of these? And if so, who's going to be the voice behind it? Who's going to be the face of Rivals, so to speak? Because I presume, obviously, everyone wants, the likes of Crodden and Greyart to go do this or that kind of thing. Is this something that's possible or something that we can push towards?
Well, right now I've got a content hub for myself that's got lots of different stuff planned. One of the things was this or that, like you said. There's also Get to Know, which Thor and Air will be doing. There's also Play Champion like player, like they do in, like you see on the homepage sometimes, like play Jin like double lift or something like that.
So when we see Bomberhunt pop off on Tristana, we can say, there you go, play it like Bomberhunt.
we'll get Bomber in. We'll be like, what do you think's the main sort of stuff? Like, how do you play this? What do you build? Why do you think it's yeah, controversial picks maybe. Explain why you did that. I think it'll be nice to do. We've also got an All-Stars coming up as well, which is in the works. Just like the All-Stars that they do for, LCS.
So how's that going to work? Is it going to be like Division 1 versus Division 2, or?
It's going to be... There's still a lot of planning involved, but
right, okay.
It's going to be like community. There's going to be the caster team as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Might have the admin team as well. Just sort of fun game modes, because Kraden seems to come up with all these game modes that I'd never even knew existed. I played one last night where it was like Nemesis draft, where we had to draft the enemy teams, and just sort of these fun game modes. It doesn't even need to be Start for Earth or anything. It can just be these fun ones that you make.
I mean, yeah, I think I've only been part of one of Kraden's joyful events, and they are interesting. The amount of different things that pop up. And I've got a fucking fly in my room that's pissing me off. But yeah, seeing these things being streamed and getting involved in the community, these are the things that it's all about, isn't it? I mean, coming home after a day of work or something and just getting to play a draft race or something. That's what life's about, man. Cheers, Crodden.
Yeah, Cradden loves these events, and I was gonna last split when I was doing the CL cards. It was gonna be sort of like a reward just to give them these cards that I could, they could win for taking part. But it's not as prioritized this year to make the cards.
Yeah, and it's not something that, from a viewer perspective, I definitely want to go, read something or watch something, or be involved in something than I do to look at something. You know what I mean? Like it's all well and good like looking at a card of I don't know, a buttermilk waffle and just seeing something funny about him, rather than watching a video on how he decides to play and the picks that he's got and stuff. So the more that I want like YouTube channels to be filled with shit, at least 5 videos a week, whether they're daily or not. That's what I want to say from you, Mr. Steam Golem, and your team. So who's involved in the content team? This has been going on a while, but we'll try and break it up soon. But who's involved? You said you, Thor, and Air so far. Is there anyone else involved in how the stream's going to run?
We've got interviewers. We've got 3. Is it 3?
I don't know. You tell me.
We've got some interviewers planned as well. We've got analysts. But yeah, we've got an online interviewer who'll be sort of interviewing players after the games.
Okay.
Sort of like, after a game, an MVP of the match will appear, and they'll be like, they'll get interviewed by this interviewer, and then we've got an offline one as well, which is for sort of Twitch, and like the play champion like player.
Yeah, so
you'll probably focus on that more. Yeah,
so obviously we had a thing when it was after each game you'll have an interview with the MVP or whoever else gets decided, and then off stream, or that'd be on stream, off stream you'll have your play champion night players or the offline ones. So would obviously these being recorded and placed on YouTube or on Twitch? Is it going to be prioritization on both, or how is it content on YouTube, streaming on Twitch? I'm not sure how it's going to run, even as someone who's a caster, so I've got no fucking idea.
I'm pretty sure it'll be streaming on Twitch and then uploading the VOD to YouTube.
Right,
That's normally how it does, because Twitch only has a 2-week, or is it 1 week? 2-week or 1 week period where you can store VODs, and then they just automatically get deleted.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's a bit hard to host them on your Twitch because they get deleted unless you're a partner, which is 60 days.
Right, okay, that makes sense. I was wondering, I went on a massive VOD run of a Twitch stream the other day. It's like, really? Only 2 weeks? Jesus, he must be active. But okay, it was probably just a partner. Which I can't see as something that rivals are going to be getting anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a long run. I think they'll eventually make it, but right now they're just building up the community, and every view and every follow helps the channel to sort of grow. And for more stuff to really be done. So
yeah, it's not hard, is it? Even if you just mute it and have it on a different tab. Like unless it fucks up your ping while you're playing, just put the stream on, man. One of the final questions then before we go. What's your dream? This is trial split of season 8. We'll ignore winter. We're talking, season 9, season 10. What does Mr. Steam Golem himself, in his combination with Wind and Rain Rivals, want for both the content team and the league in general? What is your dream? Where do you want this to go? If you could do anything, what is it that we're looking for?
I'd like for... I'd definitely like API to come in. API would make this whole thing a lot easier, and it would allow me to work on, even bigger projects, like stuff that just blows what I'm doing right now out of the water. Like my aims is just to keep going up and up and up until we reach like LCS sort of production and how we're doing it.
Green screens is something I want for a caster. That's one thing I want.
Yeah,
that'd
be
screens
great.
Would be sick. But then you could have a full analyst desk, and that's what I want. Eventually, eventually.
Really nice. It would be nice if we had sort of like a place where the casters could, go.
Oh, like actually go to a physical place. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's with casters being all over the place. I'm not certain of that happening.
Well, if Twitch gave us money and we all moved to Southwest Finland, Sadri might lose a couple of titles, but at least have a couple of mates. But yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be really good, because it would mean we'd have more dedicated streamers. Because right now the streamers are just, they're doing it to sort of get their name out and just get some practice in. And I'm guessing they do it because they like the league as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially Connor. offering to do it. I mean, with the amount of stick that you got yesterday for a first proper cast, I think you did a really good job. Sure, sometimes the camera went in a different direction or it tabbed out and it froze for a second. But honestly, you've got to give him credit for doing that. He really pulling out the bag. Because if not, that game wasn't going to be streamed. So people give him credit.
It's a lot of people, like, they're volunteers. Everyone's a volunteer. So it's always nice when people get praise for, volunteering for, because they don't really need to do this. They could just be like, nah, I'd rather go play a game of Ranked instead of doing this.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the fact you've come on my podcast, the fact of me from doing the podcast, the fact you've done 17 walls of stats, that is eventually going to become something really awesome, All the admin team who do the work, which being part of it, you know they put in a shit ton of work. Just go read the rule set and you'll understand.
There's a lot of discussions in meetings as well.
Yeah, obviously. Player union meetings have always been good. Hopefully they continue. And the further this goes, the better. Although you need to be part of it. I tell you that. Player union meetings, so you can ask what players want for content. Because while throwing a Discord message out there is one thing, when they're in voice, you might get a little bit more information. That's my only criticism of you, that you weren't there on the union meeting. Or if you were, your mic was muted.
Yeah, and I need to check what time that runs at, because sometimes there's Team Liquid meetings overrunning with that. So
I think it's Saturday 6 o'clock, but I'm sure.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, the last one was Sunday because of the game that was on Saturday, the Mammal United versus something that Sadri had, like Knights of the Round Table or whatever the fuck it was. The graphic was nice for that, but yeah, I think it's Saturday at 6, but it might obviously be rescheduled. But yeah.
Okay, so I've got no excuse then.
You've got no excuse now, no.
Well, it's invitationals this weekend, so.
Yeah, no, that won't be happening. I'm sure we can relocate it like to 8 o'clock or something on a weekday.
That would be.
Speak to Quinn. I'm sure
nice.
you can sort it out. Because I mean, it's not something that can't be rescheduled. I presume it's just because Saturday's a free day. And 6 o'clock is before the time everyone's shit faced. It's 4:30 and I've had 3 Coronas. Let's go, boys! Wednesday, fucking yes, boys. Okay, fair enough. It's been long enough now. I'm sure people are getting sick of both my voice and yours. If they can ever be sick of a Scottish accent, which I can't. So
I know they're fantastic.
Last thing is, if there's just anything that you want to get out there to the people of Wind and Rain Rivals, now's your chance.
I just encourage people to look out for more content coming in. Make sure they're participating in these community events to feel more welcome, because everyone's welcome in the community. There's nobody who I'd really say everyone really hates, or because this community is really nice. So if you do want to participate, just send me a message or send Steam Golem a message, and I'll alert you as to what's going on, like where you can sign up, and more sign up dates will be up soon. So
very nice. Very nice. Brilliant. That's fantastic. Very, very much. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I nearly stumbled on that sentence. Well, I did, but I nearly fucked up more.
It's a pleasure.
Very excited to see more stuff coming from you soon. And hit me up for invitationals, because I'll be very glad to cast if I get a better mic, which hopefully I will do soon. I've got one. Nice. I'm looking at one that's like 55 quid, but I just need to justify spending that much money first. But brilliant. I'll end it there. People watching, like, comment, share. You don't need to like or comment. Comment if there's something that you want me to do for future, but share it around. Get everyone involved. I'm partly doing this guy's job. So, brilliant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Adios.